All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode number 1 of Unfocused. This is going to be a pod clip show, just talking about whatever comes to my mind first. All right, it's kind of a practice pad for me, so bear with any changes in audio we might have, new camera gear, whatever. I don't know. I really don't know where this ends up. I'm preparing for a new show, don't have a lot of time with a microphone, and I thought this would be a good time to take a little test spin, take a little test drive, get a few things off my chest. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is just, if somebody's starting a business around you, don't be that friend. Okay, don't be that individual who's like, man, girl, what happens if it fails? Yeah, you think they don't know that? It's like 75% of businesses fail in the first year or something. Now, there's other statistics that I can give you. I mean, some businesses are just poor, right? Some businesses are really good and it just doesn't work out the first time and you got to rebuild. I'm sure that counts as a fail as well, which is tough. But my point is, don't be that person. First question to ask someone starting a business: what happens if it works? Number 1. Number 2, where do you see this going? If they actually have a good idea and it's scalable, great. Even if it's something as simple as, hey man, I want to make scarves. You're like, cool, dude. Where do you see the scarf kingdom going? Like, you want to be supplying Lenny with those big infinity things, or like, what's the deal? Maybe they have an answer. I don't know. I'm not a scarf guy. What I am is a business student and a graduate of a top university. Okay? So if somebody asks you something like that, you got to start reevaluating who you're hanging around with. And if you are one of those friends asking those sorts of things, man, start assessing what you're saying to people. They're supposed to be on your side, supposed to be their teammate. Don't be that person. That's number 1. Number 2, if it is a bad idea, let them know, okay? And try not to be rude about it, but be honest with your friends. Somebody comes to you and says, hey man, I'm trying to make a new parachute. You're like, cool. Like, out of what? Cheesecloth. You're like, not cool, dude. Not cool. Let them down softly, unlike the parachute, Just be clear about that. And that actually is a perfect segue into my next thing. Next time you're on an airplane, just think about this. Like, I was watching Mayday the other day, the show about crashes and like what happened in these disasters. It's terrible, but some of them are interesting. And there was this one where the pilot was a glider in his free time. So apparently he lost all the engines in his plane or something and managed to like bank the plane that he was flying and land it safely. And all the officials were like, oh man, if that happened to anybody else who wasn't a glider, would have just fallen out of the sky. I'm like, oh, wait a second. That's an option? That's an option? No. Please no. That's crazy. But my point is, we go in for job interviews, you get asked some dumb stuff. Like, if you're trying to get a job slinging McFlurries at McDonald's, they're going to be asking you things about like, so what do you do outside of work? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, who cares? Okay? I can operate the McFlurry machine that's always broken. Maybe I could even fix it. All right? So I feel like we need to start asking people more perceptive questions about their hobbies and proclivities. Because if I get on an airplane and I'm sitting there and I find out that the pilot, he or she, likes to get into, free base jumping or whatever it's called, where you like jump off buildings with a parachute, and he's also, or she's also, a master parachutist and all that stuff, I'm like, no. I'll wait for the next plane, because this person is going to be racing me for the final parachute on this bad boy if we do happen to lose an engine. I want the individual who like knows how to fly a drone, because those things are hard to fly, knows how to fly a glider. Like, you should have to put down on your resume, I like to fly planes with no engines, because that's what you're doing. If I get that person, I'm good. Sign me up. Put me in the baggage compartment. I don't care where you put me. Just get me wherever we're going. Because I know if that person loses an engine, it's like, don't worry, sir. We're gonna bring this baby home. We're gonna put you on solid land again. Your feet are gonna touch the ground. We might start in the water, but you'll float ashore. Don't worry. I was like, yeah, cool. And I do think that's crazy that, the certain questions that come up in job interviews are just ridiculous. But if you're not interested in job interviews and you're trying to start your own business, here's one for you. This might be $1 million idea. I don't even know. I'm not going to have $1 million ideas on here every week. But if something comes to me and I'm not going to run with it, you go right ahead. This is a show about nothing, like Seinfeld said. So I was thinking about the fact, after a conversation with an older gentleman, about how as humans we come full circle, right? First thing we do when we're born, we get a slap on the ass, we get a diaper put on. Then we breastfeed and we get a bottle, okay? So this person brings up to me, oh, what do you know? You're just a kid. You're barely out of diapers. I'm like, whoa, hold on, old man. You're closer to being back in those bad boys than I am from being out of them, so don't give me any of that. First, I had to sit there with that for a minute because I'm like, wow, that was a great comeback. That was quick. And then second, I had to sit there and think, like, that's kind of weird that we do come full circle and we end up back in diapers. Okay, so why don't we normalize the baby bottle? What is a baby bottle? It's basically a miniature trash can with some saran wrap on the inside, fill it up with milk, and then, basically virtual breastfeeding. And I got a foot in both camps. I like breasts and I like milk. So I'm like, yeah, we could do that, right? We can make some money with this. But instead, let's amp it up a little. Let's make those containers, the vessels themselves, the little hollow things, a little bit larger. Let's make the bags a little bit thicker and fill it up with alcohol. Beer and mixed drinks only. No straight liquor, because you do that to someone, they're going to have projectile vomit like a baby, and nobody's going to win. But seriously, you do that, you put the breast on top or the nipple, whatever it is, boom. You got less spillage for the people in the bar, less breakage for the people who own the place, way easier to just refill. Maybe we could figure out like a bag washing station, And then you're walking around. If somebody gets in a bar fight, no one's going to break a bottle and try and knife a dude, right? It's just going to be like, hey, man, let me pull this sucker out of my mouth. All you hear is like, oh, yeah, let's get down, And no one's getting stabbed because baby bottles aren't like that. I leave you with that, okay? This is episode 1. It's just kind of a montage of things that come to me during the day or during the night when I'm trying to go to sleep and my brain is just the idea factory. And I'm just trying to get more comfortable on the microphone. I have another show I'm going to be working on. I would like to feel more prepared going into that bad boy since it's not just going to be me talking to a camera. But that wraps up episode 1 of the Unfocused show, where you have a camera, a microphone, and an individual who you can never tell or see who it is, just laying some information in your lap. You choose to do with it what you want. Ciao.